Hopefully one of those is a good thumbnail moment. I'm gonna put my phone on the charger because it is almost out of battery. Social media is one of the greatest modern inventions since the internet. At no other point in human history have we been able to connect across the world with someone we have never met in person. It's amazing to make connections that you never otherwise would have. You can join communities, you can interact with old relatives, you can stay in contact with friends that you've moved away from. Social media is a fantastic tool, but it has its drawbacks. Is it worth having social media for all of its drawbacks? For me, social media was not worth all of the negatives that it brought to my life and why I deleted all of my social media apps off my phone. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about all of that, but first, my hair is like really wild today. I think I need a haircut, but we're just gonna roll with it for today, so keep in mind with my Kramer type look I got going on here. So, social media for me was quickly becoming just a really fast escape route for me. Whenever I had a down moment in my day, I would open my phone, open Twitter, scroll for a little bit, okay, boring, whatever. Open Facebook, scroll for a little bit. Nothing ever is interesting on Facebook, so I'd move on from that. Then I'd open Instagram, feel bad about myself, scroll through a little bit, and then that would be it. And then I'd go on with my day, and then I'd find something else to occupy my time. It was such a vicious cycle of getting bored or having a lull in my day and just opening my phone mindlessly, scrolling, right? Scrolling. And then I feel empty, right? So when I deleted my social media, I was on my van life trip, and a big core of why I went on that trip was I wanted to discover more about myself. And when I had that avenue for escaping the present and in my reality, which was social media on my phone, it was so easy to get distracted, and I didn't have time to just think. You know, how many times in a day or a month or a week do you ever just get time to sit down and think, right? I feel like older, more mature people have it right, where they can just sit in a rocking chair on the porch and think about their life. As young people, I get it. We gotta move fast, things new, information, getting things done, right? Work hard, productivity, all this stuff, but having the chance to sit down and really think about things is what I needed to find out more about myself. So I deleted Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram off my phone. I left Snapchat because it's more of a direct communication thing. I still use it mindlessly, but it's more along the lines of messaging. So after I did that, I was just clear of mind. I was no longer comparing myself to other people. I was able to discover more about myself, and I was able to compare myself to who I was yesterday and who I want to be in the future. I no longer had that mindless activity to escape the mundane or the boring in my life or escape work. I no longer had all of those distractions. And that's not to say that social media is evil. I just put it in a place where it was less convenient. I have it on my tablet, I can use it on my computer, but on those devices, it's a lot more investment to actually use it, because I can't fit my laptop or my tablet in my pocket and just carry it around everywhere. I have my phone on me, and it's all about convenience. Phones are all about convenience. You have all this information, this tool that makes your life easier. So I put all of my social media accounts and all that stuff behind barriers of inconvenience where it's not as easy to get to them. Occasionally, I'll go on my tablet, I'll open Facebook, make sure that nobody's tried to contact me. Nobody ever mentions me on my Twitter because I'm really not that active on Twitter to begin with. And then Instagram, same deal. I'll still post stuff because it's a good tool for YouTube and to develop myself, but I don't mindlessly scroll through that. And it's just in a nice little box, and it's been amazing until last night. Every morning I write in my journal, and today I wrote about what happened last night, and I want to read it off to you because I think it's really important to the lesson. And you'll have to excuse me if I pause because my handwriting isn't fantastic. So here it is. I almost let social media corrupt me once again last night. In a fit of discontentment and aimlessness, I began to crave validation. This tends to happen when I take social risks and don't receive feedback or interaction. In good mind, I'd be able to explain to myself why someone did not respond or interact with me. This was not one of those times. The drifting I experienced on my days off was climaxing in a more or less depressed state. My days off are Monday and Tuesday, so that's the days off I'm referring to. The uncertainty of my risk weighed on me. Was I being weird? Do they not like me? Is that creepy? All sorts of questions came to mind, but none productive. In this pit of pity, nice alliteration, I wanted immediate satisfaction. I frantically searched, but Snapchat and Instagram would only exasperate the issue. I re-downloaded Tinder. I deleted it a long time ago for the exact same reasons I'm talking about, and I'm grouping it in with social media. The king of empty validation. I lasted 15 swipes before I caught my blunder. In a moment of clarity, I realized how my emotions got the best of me. In that moment, I sought not what was good for me long term, but an empty filler, a temporary escape. This temporary solution would have spelled disaster had I not nipped it at the bud. This is precisely why I made a difficult decision in the past so that my daily life wouldn't be clouded with small feats of resistance. Deleting social media from my phone has proved once again to be the right, conscientious decision for my daily mental health. So I go on to talk about how it was easier to make that decision on my van life trip, but it's important to first realize that sounds really dramatic, right? Essentially, I'm talking about re-downloading Tinder and then deleting it 5 minutes later. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous, right? That's really over dramatic. What I was feeling and what I realized in that moment is really applicable for all of social media in my experience with social media in the last year, and the reason why I have made it less convenient for me to have it on my phone. So often in my day, I would just seek validation, right? I don't really use social media to begin with. I don't really post a lot. So when I was talking about when people don't interact or whatever, a lot of you watching this probably use social media a lot, and they post, interact with people, and that's how they use it. I just use it sparingly, and that uncertainty is there, and I feel like I am not super good at using it, or in most social circumstances, I'm just not as confident. So when I do take a risk, as I say, and stick my neck out there and I don't really get any feedback, that uncertainty is what kills me. In real life and in person, if I make a social blunder, I get feedback, right? If someone doesn't say anything or doesn't respond, that's feedback. If people respond with pity laughter, that's feedback. If people laugh for real, then that's feedback. At least I know. There's not a whole lot of uncertainty in real life interactions, but on social media, there's just not good feedback, or there's broken or not sufficient feedback because there's not enough context and emotion and expression in it. So that's a little bit of a tangent to go more in depth with what I wrote, but what do you guys think? Is it worth the drawbacks for all the positives? Are connecting with people around the world worth the negatives, like seeking validation all the time and feeling the mundane parts of your life when you really should be being in the moment and present? And if you really want to try it, delete social media off your phone for a week and see what happens. I would venture to guess that things would definitely change in your life. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and that like button, and join the conversation down below by leaving a comment. And with that, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a fantastic day.